Do you know what Sonos is? Have you heard of Sonos before?
I have heard of Sonos. They're in the sound game, right?
Yeah, so they are a hi-fi surround sound system, wireless. They're wireless speakers. The only thing you need really is power. And the way these things work is you could get a good sound sound bar.
Yeah,
Their subwoofer, they have dual subs in one box.
that's nice.
And they have 3 levels of speakers, and I think they actually just they might have moved them down to 2, but they got ones called Play 1, Play 3, and Play 5. Play 1 looks like just it's like their smallest speaker, like it fits in the palm of your hand.
That's nice. Kind of
And then
like a Google Home.
kind of like a Google Home. And then you got your Play 3, which is a little bit bigger. You pretty much need like 2-3 hands, I guess, to cover the distance of the base of it. It's a pretty nice beefy speaker. And then you got your Play 5, which is a giant, much bigger speaker.
Right.
But of course, these things they're nice. I have a set of them at my house, and the surround sound, it's insane. So we have an interesting topic today, where here's the thing here. Sonos is suing Google.
Oh,
Yeah. So in 2013, Sonos scored a coup with Google, agreed to design its music service to work easily with Sonos home speaker. For the project, Sonos handed over the effective blueprints to its speakers. It felt like a harmless move. Sonos executive said Google was an internet company and didn't make speakers. The executive now says they were naive. On Tuesday, Sonos sued. Now this is Tuesday. This is earlier this year, in January. Um, Sonos sued Google and 2 federal court systems seeking financial damages and a ban on the sale of Google's speakers, smartphones, and laptops in the United States.
whoa.
From my understanding, Google never had speakers. Um, and until Google, the speakers are pretty new, and they're new in the market.
Yeah, they're fairly new.
And Sonos has been around for a while, so I didn't know about the whole reasoning why they're suing them, but this is very interesting here. Sonos accused Google of infringing on 5 of its patents, including technology that lets wireless speakers connect and synchronize with one another. Now, I will say they are the ones that do this. Sonos complaints go beyond patents and Google. Its legal action is the accumulation of years of growing dependence on both Google and Amazon, and then use their leverage to squeeze the smaller company, Sonos executive says. Sonos advertises its speakers on Google, sells them on Amazon. It built their music services and talk virtual assistants directly into its products. Sonos works correspond via Gmail and run the business of Amazon Cloud Computing Service. Then Google and Amazon came out with their own speakers, undercutting Sonos prices and, according to Sonos executives, stealing its technology.
Damn.
Google and Amazon each now sells as many speakers in a few months as Sonos sells in 1
That's
year.
crazy.
Like many companies under the thumb of big tech, Sonos grossed privately for years, but over the past several months, Sonos chief executive decided he couldn't take it anymore. So he posted a message here saying Google has blatantly, knowingly copying our patent technology. Despite our repeated and extensive efforts over the last few years, Google has shown any willingness to work with us on a mutual beneficial solution. We're left with no choice but to litigate. Now, here's another article. This is just recent. This happened in June 2020. Google's retaliating with counter lawsuits aimed at Sonos. Sonos doesn't seem afraid of Google anyway. But Google has sued Sonos over infringement relating to several of its patents. The lawsuit focuses on 5 patents, according to Reuters, including 2 related to the new Sonos radio feature on the controller app. Now, this was a new feature. This radio app thing that they're talking about, this is a new feature that Sonos did come out with first. And I'm like, this is cool. And they're like, yeah, you have to upgrade your hub to the new hub, but all the speakers are the same. And the pairing with Amazon, with Alexa, with everything was just like really like seamless transition. So it says here the CEO of Sonos claimed that Google is using a strong arm tactics to push back instead of paying what it owes. After the company initial lawsuit, the U.S. International Trade Commission has been investigating on the issue, likely helping bolster uh, the Spence and Sonos confidence. This seems like a retaliation lawsuit and payback for Sonos suing Google back in January over patent infringements as well. However, Sonos CEO is confident that Sonos will win both trials. Google has countered that Sonos repeatedly asked the tech giant for help with the two company when the two companies were working together. However, only mentions that Sonos integrated Google Play Music service and Google Assistant into its smart speakers, which many other speakers also utilize. So just coming here to the Reuters, because they also did one. It says Google sues Sony, escalating wireless speakers battle amid trade panel probe. In complaint filed on Thursday in San Francisco federal court, Google accused Sonos of using substantial volumes of its technology without permission for several products, including controller apps and its Sonos radio service. The lawsuit came 5 months after Sonos sued Google for infringement of 5 other patents, and 4 months after the ITC said it began investigating Sonos' complaint about audio players and controllers from Google, a unit of Alphabet Inc., which is Google owned. Sonos has made false claims about the company's shared work and Google's technology. Google said while Google rarely sues other companies for patent infringement, it must assert its intellectual properties rights here. So I don't know. This is
It's
going to
like
be
mucky water. It's so like, I don't know.
it's very interesting. It's almost like, well, we helped you do this. Well, we helped you do this. Well, we helped you do this.
It's interesting because when companies start to work together, when they start to share information, it's always looked at as like we're building each other up because we're working on these platforms. But at what point do you have to take a step back and reevaluate the contracts you have in regards to intellectual property? Because the future is a wild, wild west when it comes to patents and innovation and all that stuff. And sometimes people can get a peek of that and they can run with it on their own side.
Yeah. And just looking at this, like, it's kind of hard to say, well, when you look at the Play Music, Google's Play Music, Sonos have had to had some sort of permission to begin with. I don't see them saying like, well, let's go ahead and just throw this on there. Maybe I don't know if there's a contract that ever said like, hey, this is what we're doing, but Sonos products does sell on Amazon. And when you look at the speakers and all that and the systems that Amazon's using and Google's using, it almost makes you wonder, like, these, because Sonos is so unique at what they have. So I don't see them. I don't know. I don't see them saying like, okay, yeah, you can copy our system, and especially if Google is undercutting them,
Yeah.
they're undercutting their products and they're selling more than what they did in a few months than Sonos did in a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's bad business. That's very bad business. And I honestly don't see how Google is going to win this if they're saying like, well, you guys have our apps in your store. It's like, well, okay, that having your app inside of a store is one thing, but
Yeah.
stealing somebody's technology and that's a whole separate beast.
But I mean, they're such a large entity that it's so easy for them to sweep whatever they want under the rug as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like all those search results, when you Google something, they're all predetermined. It's all Google's algorithm. So if you want to start searching for stuff and stuff just disappears, it's up to them what they want to show you at the end of the day too, right?
Now here's the thing. True, Google is one of the biggest platforms out there, especially for search. The term "just Google it" is for a reason. If I don't see them blacklisting them, because I'll tell you why. If they blacklist Sonos and Sonos wins this case, and if they do blacklist them because they lose the case, that's defamation of character.
For real.
Now Sonos has another lawsuit that they can go after Google for.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because you never know how ugly something can get. I think this could be maybe even the first two businesses big. Like, I don't see Sonos as a little company.
No, for sure.
No, maybe a little compared to Google, but Sonos is definitely much bigger when it comes to the speaker industry than Google, because Google just started. So yes, maybe Google's share is a hell of a lot bigger than Sonos shares, but Sonos stock could go up the roof if Google doesn't do the right thing. Then, man, I'm gonna go buy some stocks right now for Sonos.
Well, that brings up an interesting conversation as well too. Like, what would the outcome be if Sonos wins, and what would the outcome be if Google wins?
So, if Sonos were to win, that means Google's got to take a lot of their stuff off. I would think there would be a good amount of money coming to Sonos also. And Google would have to probably change a lot of their stuff in their speakers, which means they're going to lose a lot of product. And I don't know, man. Like, I think if I was Sonos and if I won, what I would say is like, hey, you know what? Let's keep it.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Give me a royalty.
Yep.
And let's shake hands and work together. Like, and it sounded like that's what Sonos wanted to do.
Well, yeah, because they obviously have they have sales power. Google does, Amazon does, whatever you want to say. They can move devices, but the quality and the software and everything else that they are replicating is from Sonos. So they obviously want a piece of their pie so they can do what? Future innovation, right? If you clip them now, then who knows what they could have come up with later on down the road. So
now if Google wins,
oh man, I don't know. It sounds weird that I'm trying to like pick sides on this one, because I don't want to pick sides, but I kind of want to see Sonos come out on top on this one. I really do.
Me too.